Hello everybody, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I'm Jason.
I'm Amy.
Crazy one is Freya, and we are bringing you another book. It's by an author that we've talked about in the past, and it's one that I will talk about quite a bit because he's one of my favorite authors that's still...
Kicking.
Yep, that's I was going to say alive and kicking. It's still around and still writing. So please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, especially the subscribe button. We've got
Subscribes.
videos coming out all the time. We love to talk about authors and books. Now, this one is not an indie author or a smaller author. It's definitely a big author that has dozens of books out there. I want to talk again about John Ringo. And I want to talk about his book, Live Free or Die. And this one starts a new series for him. And like a lot of his series, he writes 3 or 4 books into it, and then it's kind of hanging until he writes the next one. Because he moves on to other series. He tends to get bored. But this series, this was one of my favorite series. As always, I'm going to talk about 4 things: the world, the characters, the plot, and the writing style. I actually forgot the main character's name. I remember Comet. I remember Comet, the call sign of the secondary character. So, Live Free or Die. As far as the world goes, the world is our modern times-ish. Slightly in the future, well, maybe modern times, but kind of touches on future because it has aliens. It has aliens and alien technology. The main character, and how do I forget his damn name?
Tyler?
Yes, Tyler. So, main character is kind of an everyman in a way. So we're just going to move straight into the plot because the character Tyler, he's central to the plot, but as the books and the series moves on, he becomes less of the main character and more of the wizard behind the curtain kind of thing.
Oh.
So it starts out with first contact, basically. The aliens finally show up. The aliens show up, and I won't necessarily say they're friendly. The first batch of aliens are friendly, but the thing is, it's a galaxy with multiple aliens, multiple confederacies, multiple armies. Some believe in conquest, some believe in trade, some are just out there doing their own thing, right? So wormholes, basically a wormhole gate gets dropped into our solar system. So now we become just basically a stopping point. We become an exit on the highway for the most part. I mean, that's the best way to put it. We become an exit on the highway. And so the first aliens that visit, they're traders, luckily. Luckily, they are traders.
I can just imagine an alien family on a road trip.
It's in a way, except that it's probably really the only people that would have their own spaceship would be the equivalent of trillionaires. So for the most part, it's governments or merchants. The big organizations. Yeah, it's basically what it is. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? So these aliens show up, and the Tyler, who's scraping by, he's a little bit of an inventor, but he's scraping by. He's a science fiction nerd. He has an opportunity to get with one of the traders, to have a meeting with one of the traders, but he doesn't know what to trade to the aliens. No one really knows what to trade to the aliens. They know what they want. They want advanced technology. They want AIs. They want universal credits. I mean, one credit is worth like $1,000 US. So you get 1,000 credits, you're a millionaire. Or one credit's worth like 10,000 or 100, something along those lines. It's crazy. So he just puts together. He literally fills his car up with the stupidest stuff. Just all kinds of things. I mean, iPods, books, pens, anything he can think of. The silliest stuff. Food stuff. And he goes to trade with the aliens, and what he discovers is as they're trying all this stuff, maple syrup.
Oh.
Maple syrup almost gets them high.
I was trying to think of something obnoxious.
So before that so he trades for a certain amount of
Canada's very rich.
Their circuitry, I guess, that he can then sell, right? So he immediately starts out with the equivalent in seed money of multi-millions, but he doesn't hold on to it. What he instantly does is he basically instantly buys every maple tree, maple orchard, pretty much takes over Canada's maple industry.
So he buys Canada.
And then, yeah, for the most part. No, he didn't take over the hockey. And then he sells he starts selling all the maple syrup. So he almost overnight becomes basically the richest man well, he definitely becomes the richest man on the planet. One of the richest men in the galaxy. And that actually leads into the plot. Because he knows a couple things. One, he knows that he can't just sit on the money. He's got to do something with the money. Two, he knows that eventually, these traders aren't going to protect Earth. Nobody's going to protect Earth. Earth is going to have to protect itself. So he's got to build Earth up into some way of protecting itself. And he knows the attack is going to come at some point. He just doesn't know when. Right now, Earth can't hold off any kind of alien attack. That's one thing that science fiction authors get wrong a lot.
Yeah.
If they have the ability to travel between the stars, even just if they have the ability to travel between the planets, Earth is freaking toast. Yeah. Whoever holds the high orbitals holds the planet, period. All you have to do is drop pieces of metal the size of refrigerators, and you're basically nuking the planet, but cleanly. So he knows that he needs to figure something out, but he needs to figure something out off planet. So he does. He buys, one of the things he buys is an AI, and he buys an old, basically used fabricator, basically a ship that can create pretty much anything, but a lot of the designs are locked. He doesn't get military stuff, things like that. That's what he buys eventually. But first he starts, building up, and he buys some ships. He starts asteroid mining, basically, right, for metal, obviously. But as far as the defense goes, and for his mining, what he figures out, and what makes him even richer, is mirrors. Oh. He uses mirrors. Because what he does is he starts putting mirrors out in the solar system, and he controls it with an AI.
So kind of like looking how the convenience stores will have the mirror where they can look around.
No. Oh. Because as time goes on, he makes better and better mirrors. He even has to start buying them sometimes from aliens to get better and better and better mirrors, so that the mirror itself isn't melting, because he's focusing sunlight. Oh. And Tyler's pretty snarky, like most John Ringo characters are, and pretty smart-assy. And just the names he comes up for his
dimensions.
For the mirrors, because as the more mirrors he gets, the more he puts out there, the stronger his solar laser, because that's basically what it is. It's not a laser because it's not coherent light. It's right. Sunlight. But the stronger and stronger it gets. At one point, it's measured in the petawatts.
I take it that's really.
Which, yes, that would cut through a Star Destroyer without even trying.
So he created a death ray. So
yes, he creates, and he comes up with the like some of the names, like SAPL, solar array pumped laser. What it actually meant to him was serious ass powerful laser. And like every name leading up to that is the same. That's how he that's how he names them. He manages to come up with a proper sounding acronym, but it's usually like very powerful laser, like VPL. That was variable pumped laser or something like that. Very powerful laser. And then SAPL, solar array pump laser. Serious ass powerful laser.
I like it.
And that's how he fends off the first attack. Now, as the series progresses, and we'll talk about some of the other books, he does some of the coolest stuff with this. I mean, he does a very theoretical idea that was thought up once. He finds a mostly solid nickel iron asteroid, and he uses the SAPL to heat it up. He spins it. He uses his towing ships to spin it. He heats it up until it melts into a perfectly spherical ball of nickel iron. Then he also uses his ships to grab a comet, and he uses the SAPL to cut a hole. They pull out the plug in this round thing, stuff the comet in there, plug it back up. The SAPL basically welds it, and then he keeps spinning it around so it's evenly heated and keeps the SAPL on it until eventually that comet completely evaporates. And for those of you guys who know anything about gas laws, gas takes up 1,000 times the volume that liquid does. So this asteroid balloons out into a space station that is the edges of it are, I think it's a mile and a half or kilometer and a half, which would be a mile, thick nickel iron.
Dang.
And then he uses the sapple to carve it, and he turns it into a space station, basically. And there he actually starts building lasers. He starts making missiles and stuff like that. And that's how he fends off the first attack. But that's just the first attack. It's almost like a probing attack. He basically beats the scouts with a half-finished Death Star. This Death Star is not completed yet.
It's not a moon.
It doesn't have really anything except some armor. Well, mile and a half thick armor.
Some pretty awesome armor.
And the sapple. Got the sapple. Because it's one serious-ass powerful laser. As far as the writing style goes, it's typical John Ringo. He is fantastic at the mentality of soldiers. He is fantastic with the dark humor that soldiers have. And his characters are snarky and amusing and kind of asshole-y.
So they're you.
I was even going to say that his character is possibly autistic.
So they're you.
10 for 10 on the list. Was not me. So, thank you everybody for watching. If you love science fiction and you haven't read John Ringo, you absolutely must. And if you love space science fiction, of his three main space-based series,
Space-based?
Live Free or Die, it's a fantastic book. You guys absolutely love it. So please, check it out. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Hit the like and subscribe down below, and we'll
down
see you
there.
next time.
And we'll see you next time. Bye now.
Bye.